Hi, my name is Mike Dragon, and I'm your host for Netonomy.net. And today we're going to discuss the 7 most important components of an e-commerce business that are usually ignored, even in 2021. So, when it comes to e-commerce, most of the information you'll be able to find online is marketing related, because marketing is a bit of an easy part. That's why almost everybody assumes that all it takes to build an e-commerce operation is good marketing, a tech, sound, shopping catalog solution, basically something like Shopify or Magento, and a lot of luck. Marketing and front-end e-commerce solutions are just the tip of the iceberg. In this post, I'll walk you through the most important areas you need to focus on, and maybe you don't, when building an online commerce business. Not a site, not a catalog, but a business. That's kind of how Amazon was built, by focusing on the business side. So, what does it take to build a great online store? No successful store was ever built on luck and marketing alone. Top online retailers got where they are, selling great products at great prices, delivering fast, and making sure that customers are well rewarded for their choice. That takes a lot of work in areas most of us never notice. Areas such as number 1, suppliers and supply chain management. You are or plan to be a retailer in an increasingly competitive market. It means a lot to come up with a great idea, drive good traffic, and convert it to sales. But you can't do that without the right products delivered at the right time with the price the market is willing to pay. Suppliers meant a whole lot when e-commerce was not around. Now, even more so. When it comes to e-commerce, suppliers can provide you with the right merchandise, but they can also take the stock's burden off your shoulders. And so, you can start an e-commerce store without an actual inventory. Amazon, for example, relies heavily on its marketplace partners to increase listed product numbers without buying stocks for those products. So, the key takeaway: before starting an e-commerce operation, make sure that you have enough and the right merchandise suppliers. They are financially and operationally safe. They are able to provide real-time stock inventory, and they are able to deliver purchased products fast. This takes us to number 2, warehouse operations. After brick and mortar retail relied a lot on electronic communication product display. But when a product is bought, it has to come from somewhere, right? Seal the deal with the suppliers and it's off to the warehouse. That magical place where online retailers pick products from the shelf, pack them neatly, and prepare those products to be delivered. Sound simple? Well, usually it's not. A decent store with its own warehouse operations has thousands of products at any time on its inventory, employs at least a couple of dozens of people to store products, pick and pack, and prepare for delivery. That's why so many large companies choose to outsource their fulfillment operations to third-party logistics suppliers such as Anchor 3PL or the now growing fulfillment by Amazon, so they can focus on what they do best. It's usually purchase the best assortment of merchandise, service customers, and do marketing. The key takeaways for this point is a much larger post regarding 3PL, YPL will be available here, but technology is key. Service providers in these areas use technology, and this kind of technology is usually called warehouse management systems. To know at all times where the products are, what's the most efficient way to pick those products, who should be the person in charge for each package, and many others. Another key takeaway is think about the season. Some seasons, such as the holidays, are more operationally intensive than others. Be ready to employ temporary workforce to fulfill your orders. Another key takeaway is everything needs to be tracked and monitored. Security and accountability are the key to handling large numbers of orders and the workforce. Number 3, shipping, and returns. Just as mentioned above, your merchandise may be displayed and marketed online, but it has to be packed and reach its destination in the real world. That's why you need a good warehouse management, and that's why you need a great shipping service. Shipping is usually an outsourced service, and the best thing to do, unless you're swimming in cash and you want to start competing with the likes of FedEx and DHL, is employ one of these shipping providers and negotiate your way to a marketable shipping cost. Such a cost is likely to be in the future one you will be paying yourself. So pay attention. Once you've contracted these shipping providers, integrate their systems with yours so you can streamline packaging and delivery. Once in a while, customers do not like what they bought. You will need to handle the returns and reimburse customers for their purchase. This is called reverse logistics. Here you can team up with the shipping provider, but your store has to handle all of the communication. Here are some key takeaways here. Hire a shipping provider. That's number one. It's probably not worth it to have a shipping service of your own. Pay attention to systems integrations when it comes to online store, warehouse, and shipping flow. Integrate your systems will save you a lot of time in the future. Handle your returns as gracefully as possible. It may mean the difference between an unsatisfied customer and a lifetime brand ambassador. Before we skip to the next component that is usually ignored, I just want to make sure you've noticed I haven't yet mentioned anything you would expect would be e-commerce related or innovative. It's plain or boring logistics. Supply chain management and logistics. Got it? Great. Let's move on to number 4. Client relationship management, usually called CRM software, but also policies. Before even considering selling, you need to think about how are you going to treat your customer and keep him coming back. That's where CRM comes in. While the term is usually used to describe a type of software, it is actually the term describing the whole policy on how you are going to handle interactions between you and your customer. CRM needs to be customer-centric. In the center, there's the customer. That's why it's called a customer relationship management. Big words, but what do they mean? It just means that everything you need to be done is to be done for the customer by the retailer. You need to understand the customer purchase patterns so you can recommend the most suited products. You need to record purchases, interests, preferred channels, and basically all there is to it when it comes to understanding your customer. But make sure you're following and you're showcasing your privacy policy at any time. Then, act on that. After you've analyzed data, make sure customer care, warehouse operations, shipping providers, and even your purchase operations all know who the customer is and what it wants. Key takeaways here. CRM is not just software, it's a company policy on how you treat customers. 2, you need to customize the experience for your customer. You need to understand them so you can serve them better. Customer-centric is not a buzzword. This is another key takeaway. It's just common sense. Your purpose is to serve your customer. And last key takeaway, there is no client service department. Everybody working in an e-commerce store needs to know who the customer is. They need to understand the interactions and treat the customers accordingly. Number 5, e-commerce catalog and product display. Here's one you surely expected, maybe not so down on the list. Your online store catalog. Of course, this one is important. Without one, we would be back to mailing orders and inventing the wheel. However, as you've probably seen so far, it is just a small part of the whole e-commerce store business, but an important one. When it comes to it, some things you really should be taking into account is make sure you don't over-design your store. Your products are the most important items. Make them shine. Analyze and predict. Predictive analytics is the practice of analyzing users' behavior and trying to predict what would they rather buy at any given time. Search, and let's not forget search. Most of your customers will be using a search engine to navigate to your store. That's number one. Make sure your store is search engine optimized. Once there, when in doubt, they will want to search for products on your site. So make sure your site search works. And finally, when their order was shipped, they will want to search for its location. So show that to them. In 2021, there is an important update to the most important components that are ignored. And this thing is called live stream shopping. As the world got more connected and customers began experiencing rich media on other platforms such as Instagram or Snapchat, they started expecting better shopping experience. Live streaming became easier to do, and the hottest trend for 2021 in online and offline retail and in live stream shopping is closing the gap between online and brick and mortar stores. So keep in mind, focus on live stream shopping as well. Number 6, marketing and loyalty programs. Marketing and loyalty programs. I know, one includes the other, but for the sake of the argument, let's just assume that maybe loyalty programs online are so important that they should be a separate item to marketing, because they are. Loyalty is really hard to acquire these days and really easy to lose. Especially when it comes to e-commerce, most users will be searching for the lowest price and buy from whoever the seller is. But you can fight the trend with loyalty programs such as rewarding purchases. Reward your users with points they can spend on your store. It's really effective in keeping your customers tied to your brand, as well as making them feel great about it. Social shopping. Make your customer feel like a king or queen when you give them all sorts of vouchers and discounts and free buys for them and their peers and friends. Reward social media, another key takeaway. Most online users have some kind of influence in their micro community of friends and peers and family. Encourage them to take part in your story, share your products, and reward them with free buys, discounts, and sometimes maybe just a thank you. As for marketing at large, there is an increasing number of marketing solutions you can use to market your products and store, but not all are alike. Not all are efficient. Focus on search engine optimization and paid search results, email marketing, social media, branding, and in 2021, video, live video. So they may not look like much, but together the incredible 4+1 of e-commerce can mean the difference between a failed startup and the next Amazon. And last but not least, number 7, showroom and offline purchases. What? You thought that brick and mortar is all gone? Of course not. Well, 2020 was not very good for brick and mortar stores, but it's not gone. Online retail is just a small part of total retail. It is growing fast. One of the things that's helping it grow is showrooming. This is the practice of checking a product in store and buying it, usually cheaper, online. Don't think about e-commerce as online versus offline. Think of it in terms of customer. The customer wants to feel the product before it makes the purchase, so you'll need to show it to them. Even a small offline showroom can work miracles for your online store or a pop shop. So now you have it. Online retail is a big iceberg. Most of it is unseen. Check where others don't look, because that's where you'll find success in e-commerce.